Hello, I'm Dr. Cedric Wood, and I want to talk to you about power and the psychology of the human mind. It seems that when people are given power, something shifts in their mind. Now, of course, everybody in power, say at work, has responsibilities. And a lot of people will have employees underneath them. So they naturally feel responsible for those employees that are below them. They want those employees to behave well and not do something that would cause a problem for the company and certainly not make them look bad. That's what they need and want. Well, if they notice that an employee is behaving badly in some way, then they're going to feel responsible and a little bit anxious. So at that moment they have a choice to make. Do I confront the employee about what they're doing or not doing, or not? Now, people in power who decide not to confront employees will probably talk about it with their colleagues or with their supervisor, and in doing that they relieve some of that anxiety about what's going on. But now the question is, what do they do next? Many people in power will decide not to speak to the employee directly about what they've heard or about what they're even seeing. And instead will make decisions behind closed doors about the employee. And they may even decide to communicate with the employee, but in order to maintain peace and to quell their anxiety, they won't be entirely honest with the employee. They'll be a little disingenuous. But in their minds, they're being clever because they're dealing with the situation by not giving the raise, not giving them the promotion, not allowing the employee to move departments, or what have you. But they're not going to directly say to the employee, the reason I'm not allowing you to move departments, the reason I'm not giving you a raise, well, the truth of the matter is, this is what we've seen in your behavior. I mean, some managers who are healthier will do that. But the more anxiety-ridden, you could say the lower the social emotional intelligence of the manager, the less likely they're going to be genuine, and the more likely they're going to be disingenuous. And when they do this, they're transferring their anxiety over to the employee. They probably don't realize this, but the anxiety has to go somewhere. So if they take care of themselves primarily and avoid that real heart-to-heart talk, that leaves the anxiety in the mind and in the heart of the employee because they're upset, didn't get a raise, didn't get a good review, didn't get the transfer they requested, and so they're carrying the curiosity, why? Why did this happen? And if they start thinking about, what is my supervisor really thinking? Then they start wondering, well, what are they thinking? Why are they thinking that? Who was it that talked to them and told them something about me that is making them think this way? And ultimately, why won't they tell me what it is? Well, most often, 9 out of 10 times, if not 99 out of 100 times, the employee just naturally knows that it's better just to let it go. Go along to get along. Don't make a stink out of it. And they go back to their job and they put on a happy face and they do their job well because they want to keep their job. But what's really going on here? What's going on is that employee is affected by that denial, that stiff arm, that stop blocking behavior. And it hurts. And this can fester over time. weeks and months and years. And what's so very, very sad about the corporate environment is if the employee says, you know what, I'm going to go and talk to that supervisor or my supervisor's supervisor. And they do that, unfortunately, sadly, 9 times out of 10, they will be thought less of simply because they're making the complaint. Isn't that sad? That someone tries to step up and express themselves and they get in trouble for it. They're seen as a troublemaker. They're seen as somebody who is a malcontent. You know, relax, don't worry about it. Nobody's think. The reason you're not getting the raise is just because. And that kind of response falls along a continuum from being totally genuine, where they tell the truth, all the way over to having it be a complete lie. But usually in the middle, it's a little bit of truth and a little bit of disingenuousness. And so they expect the employee just to go back to their job, but don't misbehave, don't act angry, don't be dissatisfied. Go back and do a great job with a smile on your face. And the manager will whitewash what they've just done. Well, of course I didn't tell him the truth. Look at what problems it would create. And then feel fine about what they've done. But the sad thing is that kind of disingenuous treatment of employees can really impact the employee. It could really affect that employee's job satisfaction. Now that's 2 simple words. And yet those 2 words, job satisfaction, can have a huge impact on that employee. First, it can affect their physical health, their physical well-being. They might start having high blood pressure. They might start having ulcers. They might start having some kind of inflammation and flare-up somewhere in their body, causing pain. But of course, if the employee ever says, the way I'm being treated is causing me to be physically ill, of course, the manager says, there's no connection. That's from something else. What I've done, whitewash, was completely acceptable and understandable. That can have an effect on that person's career advancement. If they're blocked here, then that means they don't get to here, which could lead to going here, here, and here. But since they're blocked here, they're stuck at that level. So their whole career might be put on hold. Another way that it affects them is that it might cause not only physical distress, but emotional, mental distress. And so they might be finding it hard to concentrate, to feel motivated. They